I'm just about ready to send out to my beta users the push button as trigger for the Xbox Adaptive Controller. And if you'd seen some of my previous videos, it kind of started out like this, uh, where it slides up and down, and then it activates a slide potentiometer to do the actual reading of where the position's at. I was unhappy with this because with the 3D printing, whether it was round or whether it was square, whether I cut away or whatnot, it was just too grindy. It really wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be. So what I've come up with at this point is this unit, and it's in an enclosure now for testing, and uses a steel rod instead of the 3D printed part, and it's running inside a bearing there. So the idea is that to give it more strength and support, and so what you do is you press it down like that. So it's and right now it's relatively stiff. I'm going to start playing around with different spring mechanisms because I need to get a balance between ease of pressing it down, but then I also need to make sure that it returns to the full zero position when the user releases it. It's always a fine line with springs and magnets to do that. So the unit goes like that, and let me show you how it works when you're doing it in the software. Let me switch cameras here for a second. Let's see, bottom right. Okay, so here is my test environment, and as you can see, oh, I know why it's not working, because that window has to be active. Oh, good old internet. So there you go. So as I press down, it goes to the full limit on that trigger, and you can see it's analog, it's not digital. And then so from 0 up to 1, 0 up to 1, as I press it up and down. It's got a total travel of about 8 millimeters, so it doesn't have a ton of travel. And again, it's a fine line with me trying to fit all this into a given space. The bearing takes space, the bottom sensor part takes space, as you can see here. So that is working pretty well. We're going to see how it is in the real world, and I'll adjust it and go from there depending on what I hear back. The important thing, this is a TRRS device, so it goes into the back of the Xbox controller, Xbox Adaptive Controller, and to either the LT and the RT. Important point, you need to make sure that you're using a TRRS, the 4-pole cable for this. Even though the trigger technically only has 3, the way that the connectors are set up inside the Xbox AC, if you plug in like a stereo 3-pole, the reading will be like at max or minimum. It won't be right. So make sure to use the included TRRS cable. The other helpful hint, I've found that it's best to plug this cord into my trigger device and then into the back of the Xbox Adaptive Controller. Sometimes the Xbox Adaptive Controller gets a little confused because it's trying to figure out the range of the resistance values. Generally, I found it's most reliable when I plug this in first and then into the back of the Xbox AC. But once it's set up once, that's it. Unless you unplug it, you really don't have to mess with it again. So if you do see weird values or whatnot, it's probably that. Make sure you're using TRRS 4-pole cable and plug it in on this side first, and then it should work just fine for you. So the feel is better, the sound is better. I'm not entirely happy because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this sort of stuff, but it's a lot better than it was. So we'll see what people think. Thanks for watching.